I get to snuggle with you tonight.
Yeah, like old times.
I think Anne-Marie did a pretty good job.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Bob. How was your drive home from work?
It was very busy in Destin. It took us from 3:31 to Destin proper 45 minutes.
Wow. Well, this is Irish Bill with Seminole Bob. We're here for Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. I'm losing track of the weeks as we're getting into the season rather quickly. And a big game coming up this Friday night as the 3-0 Raiders head to Niceville to take on the powerhouse known as the Eagles of Niceville, 4-0.
Probably one of the biggest games, non-playoff statement games in recent memory for me with Navarre. It is David versus Goliath, truly.
This year, I mean, I've been looking at that Niceville roster all season long. I think they have 2 4-star players on that team and at least 3 or 4 3-stars. And I know their 2 offensive linemen, Kimo Macanioli, he has like 31 offers right now. And Austin Firestone, who's only a junior, has like 15 or 16 already. Both offensive linemen play both ways, both sides of the ball. But the superstars, the ones that make it happen, you have Azariah Thomas, the 4-star junior defensive back. His older brother, Wanye, plays at Georgia Tech. And Azariah is making a name for himself already. Only a junior, and he's getting quite a few big offers. And you got some weapons on there, like with Dominic Anacarico, the running back Sean Parker back for another year, and the senior Trey Wainwright, the lefty, having a pretty solid season so far.
Absolutely. They're loaded. Not a weak link in the bunch. It's probably a good thing for the Niceville head coach that high school kids can't leave early.
It probably is. But, I mean, look, you have 4 straight running clocks in the second half for Niceville. They've outscored their opponents 206-28. Averaging 51.5 points per game. One of the highest scoring offenses in the state of Florida. I mean, yes, some of the teams in the South haven't started playing yet, but they are putting points up left and right. And one stat that kind of hits me right up front is with Trey Wainwright, the left-handed quarterback. Through 4 games, he has 10 touchdown passes and only 10 incompletions. So he's got as many touchdown passes as he does incompletions.
Yeah, I saw that stat, and that's just truly remarkable. I think he's a first-year starter.
First-year starter as a senior. 48 for 58 on the season. But with the running clock, they've been able, just like Navarre, has been able to get a lot of players in over the last couple of games. And that could bode well down the road as the season progresses.
Yep, and I think that's going to help, as you said, the Raiders, and tough uphill climb this Friday night at Eagle Stadium. But I think Jay Walls and his crew are up for the task.
Like as someone was telling me, Richard Coleman, a good friend of mine over at Choctaw, who's been a Choctaw Indian, I think, for all of his life. He said, this is one of the better Niceville teams I've seen in quite a while. And I said, well, one thing, Richard, is Navarre doesn't back down from any opponent. Even if they're outmatched, they go in and they give it their best. And who knows what happens. And we've seen upsets in the past.
That's why they play the game.
To me, it's not really a big upset because these 2 teams in 7A are the power of the Panhandle over here in Okaloosa. I mean, Crestview, yes, down this season, but when you look right at it, Niceville and Navarre have been the 2 teams to beat here in 7A. And Navarre leads the overall series against Niceville 8-3.
Right. Yep, absolutely. I concerned a little bit about the defensive run stop for Navarre. Choctaw ran on us pretty well. Now, admittedly, in the second half, we had a lot of second and third stringers in the game, and Choctaw, with their thin lineup because of injuries and COVID-related issues, had to keep really the A team in because that's really all they had. But tell you what, Choctaw did not back down. Very impressed.
I was very impressed with Dorian Smith. As much as the Raiders were in the backfield early on, and he took a few pretty good shots, he hung in there, and he played the whole game and had a rather good night, 18-27, 217 yards on the night. And they just hung in there, and that's the thing with Choctaw is they're a team, they may be down in numbers, but they're in talent. The talent's still there. The depth is what's gone.
And don't forget, Choctaw had the lead in the game early on when we missed, I think, the initial extra point. Is that correct?
That is correct. We were down 7-6 early on. Oh, one thing we forgot to mention, this Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. We're from Culver's here in Navarre. Randy and Honey Smith allow us to come into their house or their establishment every Wednesday night at 7. As much as they're here, they would probably consider it their house. But we're here every Wednesday night from 7 to about 8:15, and we talk a little bit of high school football.
Yep, and just like the college and the pro game, where they've been allowing some fans in the stands, mainly family, we have fans inside Culver's now. They've opened up the inside, and you may hear kids and families in the background. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And can't beat that custard. You saw that custard that was going down to that table over there.
Normally I get a fish sandwich out of leaving at night. Tonight I'm going custard all the way.
Custard all the way. I started to tell her, it's over here. Just put it in the middle, and Bill and I will. But, the Smiths have been awesome sponsors through the years, and can't ask for a better
Fourth
family.
year here already.
Yeah.
7th year overall. My first 3 were at the Twist in just down the street here when Derek and Julie Prevet ran the Twist down here, and they let me run my show. It was only an audio broadcast at the time for 3 years, and they moved on, and that's how we came up with the Irish Bill's Twist on Sports.
Well, they have something in common. They had ice cream there, and they have custard here. What's the common denominator, Bill Hamill?
Bill likes ice cream,
Yeah.
and he likes things that have sugar in them. Caffeine, you know it. That's my weakness, ice cream and chocolate.
Yep. And at Culver's, they've got both here, and it's excellent.
So we got Joe Settle checking in saying, "Go Eagles." He says he's been around the Eagles program for quite a while, since '93, and he thinks it's probably the most talented team that he's seen. And I would have to agree with him. They've had some pretty good talent coming out of Niceville. You had Roy Finch a few years ago. The Williams wide receiver, forgetting his first name, but excellent wide receiver there. They've had some really great talent come out of Niceville. You got, like I said, Wanye Thomas is up at Georgia Tech. They got one young man that's playing over at the Citadel. He actually got to play against Clemson a couple of weeks ago. He was a walk-on.
Right.
He got to play against the number 1 team in the country. To me, that would make my day, playing against, well, not necessarily, depending on the score.
Right.
But
Dante Sheffield,
Florida
State.
Playing at Florida State.
Started out as a walk-on, has hung in there, recovered a fumble, a muff punt, I think, against Notre Dame, and early on gave them some
Cody
Williams.
momentum early on.
Cody
Williams.
Cody Williams.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Eli Stope. We forget Eli. Gosh, what a talent there. And but it's been great, some great matchups between Navarre and Niceville over the years. The series didn't really start till after the 2010 season was the first time that they played, and that was actually Navarre's first win in the playoffs in 2010 when they went over to Niceville with the crew with Dwayne Carter and that bunch and Sterling Lovelady, and they got it done over there 28-7 in their very first time they ever met. And then they went on to the region finals for the first time that year before bowing out to Lincoln. But we got a great show tonight. We're going to recap. What, Bill? We're going to recap the Choctaw-Navarre game as we kind of already started that. We're going to go over this week's schedules and predictions. We're going to go over some stats. I finally got some stats from Coach Walls this afternoon. So we're going to go over some stats as well. We're going to do a high school predictions, and the old guy actually got me this week. And then we're going to break then, and we're going to go over our power rankings, our players of the week. Then we're going to go over our college football predictions. Gotcha in that one. And then we're going to finish up our show like we do every week, telling you about our Navarre Raiders. And one of these young men had his best collegiate day on Saturday, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the show.
Yeah.
And looking for a great show tonight. Like I said, the Raiders got on the board last week because the Raiders still haven't decided who to start at quarterback. Kind of reminds me back in the days of Kane Adamson and Sage Chambers.
Right.
Both equally talented. One was a little bit better passer than the other. Both really solid athletes for Navarre. I think it was the 16-17 season. And Kane went on and played 1 year up at Maryville with Bo Herring. Sage went up to Huntington for a year, then over to Shorter. But unfortunately, injuries took their toll on him, and Sage is back in the area selling cars.
Yep.
Doesn't surprise you with that family, though, does it? With Rusty, a very well-known car salesman here in the Panhandle of Florida.
Right.
Great family there.
Right.
But kind of reminds us, Jason Deal, Zach Marquise. They've had spurts of above average play. Zach more of a runner than Jason, and they both got it done last week. Both threw for a touchdown.
Right.
Zach threw for 3 last week, and it's 3 completions. His only 3 completions went for touchdowns last week. And Jaden Rivera, another great night for him. 169 yards on 13 carries, 3 straight games over 100, 145 against Pace, 124 against Gulf Breeze, and last week 169. So he's up to 438 yards in his first 3 games of the season.
I think he's going to get some looks for some D1 schools.
No offers as of yet. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
It is.
He's a very strong young man, very quick, still learning the running back as he played a lot of defense early on in high school. But he's been working with Dwayne Carter and the Carter bunch there and Coach Tony, which they know how to run the ball, the Carter family.
Sure do.
And then we got the receiving corps. Trent Hall really stepping into his own. When he came up on varsity last year, I was talking with Stacy Wright, and she goes, "You got to watch this young man because he's a big follower of Dante."
Okay.
And his abilities are starting to show now. Early on, very quick receiver, good hands. He had 2 touchdown catches last week, but he's only a junior, so one of the guys we'll have back next year. But they're kind of spreading it out, starting to spread it out a little bit now.
Absolutely.
And then we've got Zach Marquise had to fill in punting last week for Preston Penton,
right.
And Caden Howard had a good night. Going through the motions a little bit as he hasn't kicked in quite a while, but he did a great job. And so they handled the kicking duties, and I believe they will be handling them as well this week. But Navarre got out to a 6-0 lead on their first drive. And go over that scoring play here. A 24-yard pass play from Jason Deal to Jabari Mitchell from 24 yards out. 11-15. The Raiders were up 6-0. But Choctaw answered right back at the 7-minute mark on a 2-yard run by Kybert McLaughlin. I was pretty impressed with that young back there.
Yep.
He handled most of the carries in the backfield. Noble added the extra kick for the Indians' only lead of the night, 7-6. The Raiders on the next drive would score, find the end zone from 20 yards out. Marquise to Trent Hall, and Marquise would run into 2-point conversion. The Raiders had a 14-7 lead after one. In the second quarter, the Raiders didn't waste much time. 2.5 minutes in, a 14-yard pass from Marquise to Rivera. Howard would kick, and the Raiders stretched their lead out to 14. Next was kind of an unusual scoring play. Choctaw was back deep in their own end, awaiting a punt, and the ball was snapped over the punter's head, about 7 yards deep in the end zone, and the punter back there, Noble, didn't have much of a chance to get it off, so he just kicked it out of the back of the end zone.
Right, rather than give up a potential touchdown.
And so they got the safety out of that. They held Navarre on the next series, but Navarre got the ball right back at the 6:02 mark, a 27-yard pass from Marquise to Hall. Howard with the kick, 28-7 Navarre, and they would add another touchdown with 53 seconds left. A 30-yard run by Rivera, his 6th rushing touchdown of the season, and the Raiders had themselves a 36-7 halftime lead. Choctaw will get back on the board at 6:41 of the third. Dorian Smith from 6 yards out. Noble's kick was good, 36-14. Raiders would bounce right back at 2:09, a 2-yard run by Isaiah Miller. I was very impressed with his running ability there in the third quarter, Bob.
Yep. It gave Rivera a spell, and very hard runner, and he wasn't afraid to give some licks out.
So we might see more of him in the future in the backfield to spell Jaden Rivera. The Raiders would stretch that lead back out into a running clock as T.J. Peltier scored his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season at 10:21 of the fourth, and Smith would find his receiver from 9 yards out with 4:59 to go for the final scoring, and a 50-21 victory for the Raiders. Then they go to 3-0.
It was a win. Very damp night, very sweaty night.
It was very warm up on the roof.
Very warm up on the roof. Senior night.
39 football players, the managers, and 21 cheerleaders and mascots. And your daughter was one of them.
Yep. A very proud daddy of a mascot. And
folks, if you missed senior night and you want to watch the game, well, if you go to my broadcast on irishbillsports.com, the first 40 minutes are of senior night. So we will have that out there, so you'll be able to go back and watch it as much as you want. I was glad to be able to do that, cut out a pregame to recognize all the seniors that have given a lot to this high school, Bob.
And for you, I'm sure it brought back a lot of memories, not only for senior night with Brady, but seeing those young men come up through the program of Navarre I'm sure, flooded your brain with some really great memories.
Most definitely.
Last 3 or 4 years.
I've been here. This is my 12th year. Hard to believe I've been doing high school football at Navarre for 12 years. I've seen a lot of faces come and go, and I'm just a little piece of the puzzle to extend the memories of some of those that were a part of Navarre getting off the ground back in 1998.
Yep, absolutely.
This Irish Bill with Seminole Bob. We're going to come back after this commercial break on Irish Bill's Twist on Sports.
Craig Culver of Culver's.
Before farm to table, before field to fork, there was just good, wholesome food. Grown by America's farm families, prepared fresh at Culver's, and always served with a smile. We still cook every Butterburger to order using fresh 100% Midwest beef and craft our frozen custard right in the restaurant using family farm fresh dairy. So thank you, farmers. Welcome to Delicious.
University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. If buying, selling, or building a dream home is in your future, you need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes and Stacy Wright are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or selling experience smooth. See University at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call 850-396-0322.
Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track. Well, they're seeing to it that they are properly fed, have good transportation, or making sure that all Raider fans can hear all the exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishVilleSports.com. Navarre Raider Sports is brought to you by Ursula Householder of Coldwell Banker Residential Real Estate, your local real estate connection. With Ursula, you got a positive, helpful partner for buying or selling a home. Ursula can help with all of your real estate needs. Whether in the Florida Panhandle or around the world, her 16 years experience in real estate will work for you with innovative marketing strategies. Thinking about selling your home? Call Ursula for a free marketing analysis to see if you qualify for one of the incentive programs. Call or text 850-642-5711. Email ursula.householder@floridamoves.com or go to householderhomes.com. Go Raiders! Your fans are all behind you at the field or while you're watching at home.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right people. Real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
Welcome back to Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. This is Irish Bill with Seminole Bob.
Seminole Bob.
We're here in each and every Wednesday, except for last week. Bob got in a little traffic and got a little hung up, and so I just did the broadcast from the studio at home. And but we're back here. We should be here for the rest of the high school football season, and we hope that you can tune in each and every Wednesday night from Culver's here in downtown Navarre, a block and a half from the bridge leading out to beautiful Navarre Beach. You couldn't think of a better place to do it from, Bob.
Absolutely not.
Well, we're going to get on over to our scores from last Friday. We had a lot of games last Friday night.
Yep.
Thursday night, Friday night, and then one on Monday night.
Correct.
So Niceville took out Mosley 45-0. Navarre 50-21 over Choctaw. Escambia 46, Catholic 12. Pace 35, Tate 17. Rutherford in a tight one over Arnold 30-28. Northview 27-12 over Walton. Pine Forest over Washington 14-6. Baker over Freeport to go to 5-0, 34-8. Vernon 49 looking solid here early in the season. 4 carries on the night for one Kwan Powell for 170 yards and 3 touchdowns. Those are just impressive.
That's efficiency.
You imagine if he played a whole game.
That's efficiency. He'd probably break the state record, which is like 450 yards.
It's 500 and when it was Derrick Henry. When he played at Yulee, 521 yards.
Yep. He played for Yulee.
I was looking at that stat. Somebody put that on Twitter earlier today, his senior season. It was ridiculous. Rushed for 4,500 yards, 55 touchdowns, and averaged over 8 yards a carry. And they ended up with over 12,000 yards in his high school career, which is a national record. And I just – how could you stop? Look at what he did last night in that game against Buffalo. I mean, 2 undefeated teams. And there was one play where he was running off left tackle, and a defender, I believe it was Josh Norman, was coming up to try to make a tackle. Not so much. He tossed him away like a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Sort of like Mack on the Bears last week when they were playing against Tampa. But Jay knocks off Chipley. We both had that one wrong. 14-12 Jay over Chipley.
Wow.
Lincoln 37, Childs 13. Bluntstown, Coach Bo gets his second win on the season. They beat FAMU 12-6. Florida High 28, NFC North Florida Christian 6. Weewash 61, Liberty County 35. We'll talk a little bit more about that game in a little bit later. Madison County 12 going over to Columbia and shutting them out 12-0.
Columbia's not going to schedule any more small schools.
No, because they've lost to 2 of them so far this season. Madison County 12-0 in that one. Wakulla 29-0 over Jefferson County. Mariana 35, Bay 0. We both took Bay in that one, I believe, and because they had a great showing the week before.
Right.
But Mariana, you don't know which team's going to show up.
Exactly.
Sneed's 34, Bozeman 13. Rocky Bayou gets on the victory side of things, 39-32 over Osceola Christian. Taylor County 16-14 over PK Young. Godby 22-3. It's good to see Leon County teams finally hitting the field. Mm-hmm. Holmes County 28, North Bay Haven 13. Cottondale's first win of the season over Franklin County 24-20. Trinity Christian Texas comes to Gadsden County last week. That is the team coached by Deion Sanders.
I saw that.
And they beat Gadsden County. Very respectable game, 29-17. Those you saw them earlier in the season in one of the ESPN games. And then Trinity Christian 29, Gadsden County 17. St. John Paul shuts out McClay 26-0. And Fort Walton Beach drops a Monday night contest to Milton 40-7. Milton looked really good here early on.
Wow.
But there are the last Friday night's game, and we're going to go. It's time. It's time. Bob goes 19-5 last week. Congratulations.
Have I caught up yet?
You are two games behind.
Okay.
So we're very close now. I'm 52-17. You're 50-19. So just 2 games, and that could be. You could catch up this week. I went 17-7. Bob went 19-5 last week. Very impressive, partner.
Yeah, overall.
So here are games we're going to pick this week. We're going to start out with 2 Thursday night games. Mariana, whichever team decides to show up at Rutherford, I think will be enough to take out Rutherford on Thursday nights.
And so you're picking.
I am going with Mariana.
I'll go with Mariana as well.
Now we got Godby. This is a great matchup. Godby 2-0. Rickards always a tough team. Also the Raiders 1-0. You say at, but they're really all right there in Tallahassee. And most of them are played at Gene Cox Stadium. But this is a tough contest. I didn't even look at Joe's picks this week to see what the margin was in this game. But I am going to go with Godby, the Cougars.
I'm going to go with the home team, Rickards.
Okay. Bob going with Rickards. Now we go to Friday night. Navarre 3-0 at Niceville 4-0. And you know what? I never pick against my Raiders. I got to go with the Raiders.
I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think Navarre is going to have to play one of the best games they've ever played, and in recent memory. They're going to have to play air-free and cause Niceville, and you say this is all cliche, but it's true, cause Niceville into turnovers, something they haven't done. Something happens when, on the field of play in this Goliath versus David scenario. Navarre has a lot to win in this contest and not a whole lot to lose. I mean, to some extent, Niceville doesn't either because all the teams are in the playoffs.
Right, correct.
But I'm going with Navarre. I think it's going to be – is Preston going to be
Preston believe will not be back this week.
All right. I was going to say it could be a field goal game. I'm still going to go with the Raiders in a close one.
Yeah, it could come down to the kicking game, which I would give the edge to Niceville right now with Charles LeBee. Hasn't missed. He's 29 for 29 on extra points. He made it his only field goal attempt. He's perfect on the season. He's having a great season. So both going with Navarre. Let's head over to Escambia. They're going to be too much as they hit the road over to Tate. I'm going to go with the Gators in this one to go 4-0.
Gators are, super strong.
Well, I was looking at their stats the other day. It's not like they're putting up a whole lot of offensive stats. It's their defense that is impressive. And they're scoring a lot off their defense. Not only points directly from their defense, but actual setting up their offense in very short field situations quite often.
Defense wins championships, so I'll go
That's
with
what
the
they
Gators.
say.
That's what
Next, we have Leon
Gators.
0-1 going to Lincoln. Actually, I don't know if Leon does. I think Leon plays at home. I think they got a new turf field over there, but they're going to play this one at Gene Cox Stadium. Leon 0-1 at Lincoln, and I go with the Trojans in this
I'm
one.
going to go with the Trojans as well.
Washington 1-2, two tough losses to Escambia and Pine Forest. No. They played Pine Forest last weekend.
They did.
So let's take that one off the board there. West Florida 1-1. Had to bye last week. They're going over to Choctaw 0-4. They're looking really good here early on.
Wow. Gosh. I want to pick Choctaw so bad, but you know what? I'm going to pick Choctaw. All kind of petitions circling around the school to get rid of Greg Thomas.
That's a mistake if they do.
And I think so too. I absolutely. And the question is, well, who are you going to get? I'm sure there'll be a lot of people because Choctaw's a high-profile job. But 2020 is not a normal year. He's a quality guy.
With a great track record.
High character. Yeah, I think I don't know if any of the Choctaw administrators are listening, but I think it would be a huge mistake if you got rid of Greg Thomas.
Yeah, was it 2015 they made it to the state semifinals against Armwood, lost a tight contest against a very good Armwood team. Had a great year that there with one young man, Richie Grant, who I believe now is a senior at UCF. And he had a great season, and he's doing a lot of great things over there for the Knights. But I'm going to go with West Florida. You're going with Choctaw. Now let's move on down to Gulf Breeze at Mosley. It's the Battle of the Dolphins.
Battle of the Dolphins. I'm going to go with Mosley at home at Tommy Oliver Stadium.
After a hiccup last week at Niceville, did not see that coming. I thought that Mosley would at least go out and give them a game in the first half with the way that Liam Bird's been playing all season long. But Niceville, that tells you just how strong Niceville is. So we're both going with the Dolphins of Mosley. Let's move on down to Catholic at Pensacola. Not separated by very, very many miles in this one.
Catholic started out so promising. It was in your top 7, I think.
Still in my top 7, but they kind of dropped a spot. Yes, they have played a couple of tough teams.
Which Catholic team is going to show up?
And
I'm going to go with the Catholics in this one.
You're going to go with the Catholics. Game. The Crusaders is Bob's choice. And I'm going to go with Todd Leonard and the Tigers of Pensacola High in this one.
It's my wife's alma mater, Pensacola High School.
You've told me that before.
And my mother-in-law's alma mater.
So you're going with the Crusaders. I'm going with the Tigers. Childs 0-2 at North Florida Christian. I think North Florida Christian Childs lost a lot off that team from last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to go with
NFC.
North Florida Christian in this one. I think you are as well. Bozeman 1-2 at Arnold. Arnold lost a tough one last week to Rutherford, a 30-28 contest. I'm going with the Marlins at home at the Abyss.
At the Abyss. I'll go with the Marlins as well.
Renamed their stadium the Abyss. I
kind
like
of a
that.
Fishy situation.
It is. It is.
What? Bozeman. Bozeman's are the Bucks.
Then we have a crosstown rival between FAMU 2-1 at Florida High. I think Florida High is one of the better teams in all of Class 4A. I mean, they are very talented. I would not be surprised to find them in the state championship game once again this year.
Going with Florida High, the Chiefs.
Bay 1-2 heading over to Bluntstown. for one of their rare home games this year due to the schedule and COVID-19. They have lost quite a few games, and Lordstown on a 2-game winning streak. I'm going to go with the Tigers at home.
Make it 3.
Coach, and you can't just go wrong with Coach
Bo.
Bo. Coach Bo. I can't wait to meet the guy.
Bo.
I've had conversation with him. We've had him on our show numerous times on Saturday.
Right.
Seems like just an awesome guy.
The day of the state championship game, and he gives you an interview.
He does.
How many coaches would do that?
Not many.
You're right.
And yeah, that was the game I was filling in for Artie Goodman.
Right.
Over at the Ticket on 100.3. You catch our Saturday morning show, the Southern Gentleman Sports Show, from 8 to noon every Saturday, unless it's interrupted by a Florida. We don't have to worry about a Florida game this week.
Yep.
But great. We have a great time talking. And Coach Bo was that Friday. I was interviewed him and a couple other coaches, Derek Marshman from Northview and Phil Tiza from South Walton.
Right.
And but let's move on to our next game. St. Michael Catholic from Alabama. They're 0-7. They're coming to Pensacola to take on Lighthouse PCA. 0-2. I'm going to go with the Stingrays at home.
Stingrays, I think their stadium is actually in Gulf Breeze or
it's going to be over there. No, is it Oriole Beach Road?
Yep.
Over in that area?
Yep.
Or is it going to be over by Pensacola State College?
It is near Pensacola State College
Okay.
area. Their new campus and sports complex.
That's going to be a nice place. We'll have to go down there and catch a game when we're not calling a game.
Yeah.
St. John Paul II off to a 3-1 start. They're going against a very tough Pirates team, 3-1.
Boy, that's
two
gonna be a good
3-1
game.
contests. And this game is going to be played at Sneed's. St. John Paul has been playing well the last 2 weeks. They've outscored their opponents 90-0, 93-0 in the last 2 weeks.
With that, Sneeds?
No, that's St. John Paul II.
St. John. I'm going to go with the Catholics in this one, in an upset.
I'm going to go with them as well. I was leaning towards the Pirates, but then it's just St. John's is playing really well right now. And I went to church. My church growing up, I was St. John's, so I got to kind of side with St. John's here. Maclay 2-3 at Lafayette, 3-2. Based on the records, I'm going to go with Lafayette. I don't know a whole lot about Lafayette.
Lafayette.
Is it Lafayette?
Lafayette.
Next, we got Northview. They're 2-1 on the season, and they'll be at South Walton. South Walton coming off a big victory over Mariana after having the week off last week, a 27-7 win 2 Fridays ago, and Phil Tisa with the big win.
I thought that game was in Bratt, actually.
Is it?
Well, I'm not sure. The Daily News had it at Northview, and we. I don't know if it's going to affect the game, but.
Well, if you want to talk for a second, I'll look it up.
I don't know Escambia County's rules on if it's at Northview. That could change the game if Escambia County does not allow a lot of fans. South Walton still also keeps an eye on numbers.
Okay.
But again, it's a matter of which Seahawk team is going to show up. They've got a lot of talent on that team, and so I mean we'll just have to see the Chiefs and the Seahawks.
It will be played at Northview.
They've got a long ways to figure out how to get there.
That is. Which way are they going to go? They're going to come down 98 up 87. It's 85 miles to Northview from the bar.
Yeah.
And you add another. Walton is over by Sandestin. Mm-hmm. You're adding another.
They probably go I-10 and then drop down.
Possibly could, or they could go up 85.
Right.
But that's a long haul either way.
It is. I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
Bob going with the Seahawks. I am going to go with the home team, Northview.
The Chiefs.
Under new coach, Wes Summerford. Off to a good season, 2-1. Next, we have Taylor County Actually, I think this game has been canceled because Taylor County has come down with COVID issues.
Yep.
So we'll not pick that one. J1 and 2 off their upset victory over Chipley.
Wow, that
as
was
they
a
travel
surprise.
over to Freeport. Freeport are kind of an up and down team too.
They are.
With Coach Arntz over there, very young team. We had him on our Saturday morning show a few weeks ago. Very pleasant man to talk to.
Yeah, good guy, very involved with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Don't find too many coaches who are also the sponsor of the school club. I'm going to go with Freeport. I think being at home is going to have an advantage.
I'm going to go with Freeport as well. Holmes County 3-3 at Chipley. Holmes County fresh off. What did they got the victory last week against North Bay Haven. I'm going to go with Chipley to rebound in this one.
Chipley at home.
North Bay Haven 1-4 at Liberty County.
Oof.
I'm going to go with the Buccaneers in this one. Did you know they were the Buccaneers?
I didn't know that.
North Bay Haven, the Buccaneers.
I'll go with the Buccaneers.
Next we have Cottondale 1-2 at Graceville 0-5.
Wow.
It's been a long season for Graceville. I'm going to go with Cottondale on the road.
Go with Cottondale on the road.
Hopping down the Bunny Trail.
Yep.
Franklin County 0-2 at Bronson 4-2. Don't know much about Bronson, but if they're anything like Charles Bronson, then they're pretty tough.
Exactly. I'm going to go with Bronson at home.
Next we have Madison County going up to play a Class 6A team this week as they travel over to Auburndale. 5-1 Madison County at Auburndale 2-2. This is going to be a tough matchup for Madison County.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
Bob going with the Cowboys. It's tough to pick against the Cowboys, is it not? With the records they've had over the last few years, it's tough to pick against them. But you're going up against a 6A team. Yes, I know you went over to Columbia last week, another 6A team, and took them out on their home field. But I think Auburndale is going to slip by in this one. I'm going with the upset. If it is an upset.
If it's an upset, yeah, exactly.
Then we have one Monday night game. What are you doing Monday night?
Dun, dun, dun.
We're having Rocky Bayou 1-3.
Rocky Bayou.
Heading over to Baker 5-0. I've never been to a game at Baker.
Never been. Well,
Have you ever been up there for a game?
Yes, I have. Refereed a game up there. Go with Baker. And while I have this opportunity, I want to say get well wishes to Dr. Michael Mosley, the superintendent of Rocky Bayou Christian School, is in the hospital. We wish Dr. Mike and his family all the best, and get well soon, Dr. Mike.
Well, while we're sending best wishes out there, we want to send best wishes to Coach Nick Saban. Tested positive today.
Sure did.
For the COVID, him and their, I believe, their athletic director.
Yep.
So we send our prayers to them. And also to Bobby Bowden, as he has kicked its butt. Does that not surprise you with the old Coach Bobby Bowden?
No. Dadgummit.
90 years old, and he said, virus? I don't need no stinking virus.
I don't need no. Well,
Joe's giving us his pick for Friday night. He says he thinks it's going to be a great game, but he has Niceville 31, Navarre 28. That's good. I would like a game that close as well, but on reversed.
And we'll be on the visitor side, I believe.
We will be on the visitor side at Niceville High School. Unfortunately, I know this is going to break some hearts. We will not be able to do a video broadcast this year at Niceville because they conduct their own, which
just started.
It's their stadium, it's their high school, and so they are doing a video broadcast. So
we tried.
We tried.
I
had a talk with Grant Thompson, their athletic director and head coach, and so we came to an understanding. We will do an audio broadcast with the camera pointed towards the scoreboard, so at all times you will know how much time and what the score is in this game on Friday night.
Yep.
And we will start with our pregame. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff So we'll go on our pregame at 6:30 on IrishBillSports.com. So looking for it.
Yeah.
It's a great place to do a game, too.
And certainly if you want to watch the game, they do have a pay-per-view. You can go on to
New Fish Radio, I believe it is, with Artie Goodman. And you can, I believe they charge $12 for their – they also do their radio broadcast, which goes on the ticket 100.3 and 97.1. But if you want to watch the game, on New Fish Radio, I believe there's a link on their website that they can go on and you can watch the game. If not, just tune in to Irish Bill and Seminole Bob, and
you could have the proceeds, which I assume after net and loss and all that, go towards Niceville Sports.
Yes,
you could watch the entire game there. We told Grant we would say this.
Yes.
Or you can turn down the audio, their audio, and listen to us and watch the feed.
Exactly.
Or don't do any of the above.
And go to the game if there's any tickets left.
Could do that. Or watch our feed with the scoreboard and the audio. So lots of ways. We want to support all area athletics. We're not going to cut our nose off to spite our face.
Well, I can understand why they're doing that this year, because if you know anything about Niceville High School, they have one of the largest attended football facilities in the Panhandle of Florida. The crowds on Friday night they're the largest. Navarre is probably a close second, right behind Niceville. And so they are losing the gate this year for the home games, and I understand why they're doing it. Actually, it's a smart financial move on their part, and hopefully they're trying to regain some of the funds that the
lost
sports
revenue.
Yes, the program is losing along the way.
Bill, I don't know how with Governor DeSantis opening up and declaring us, stage 3. I don't know how that works and how it would affect the high school. But you got to make sure you social distance. We'll be on the visitor side.
And I believe they allotted 400 tickets for the visiting team. So
yeah, and I assume that they're going to do the electronic phone thing again, where you go whatever the app is for buy your tickets. But don't despair if all the Navarre tickets might be sold. Keep in mind, Niceville might be selling. Some folks were dismayed in the Gulf Breeze game. Oh, we've sold all our allotted tickets. But there's you can also click on Niceville and perhaps get a ticket that way. And as it turned out, in the Gulf Breeze game, we had more fans in the stands than Gulf Breeze did.
We did. And that's 13 out of 14 that we've taken in that series. And the one game that they lost, we didn't think that there was a chance, was Michael Carter's senior season. We lost a tough one at home, 31-28. It was a great game there back in 2016. But, well, there's our high school portion of the show. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back over the rankings, state rankings. Then we're going to have our power rankings, our players of the week, and our college picks. This Irish Bill with Seminole Bob on IrishBillSports.com. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Craig Culver of Culver's.
Before farm to table, before field to fork, there was just good, wholesome food. Grown by America's farm families, prepared fresh at Culver's, and always served with a smile. We still cook every Butterburger to order using fresh 100% Midwest beef and craft our frozen custard right in the restaurant using family farm fresh dairy. So thank you, farmers. Welcome to Delicious.
University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. If buying, selling, or building a dream home is in your future, you need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes and Stacy Wright are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or selling experience smooth. See University at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call 850-396-0322.
Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track. Well, they're seeing to it that they are properly fed, have good transportation, or making sure that all Raider fans can hear all the exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishVilleSports.com. Navarre Raider Sports is brought to you by Ursula Householder of Coldwell Banker Residential Real Estate, your local real estate connection. With Ursula, you got a positive, helpful partner for buying or selling a home. Ursula can help with all of your real estate needs. Whether in the Florida Panhandle or around the world, her 16 years experience in real estate will work for you with innovative marketing strategies. Thinking about selling your home? Call Ursula for a free marketing analysis to see if you qualify for one of the incentive programs. Call or text 850-642-5711. Email ursula.householder@floridamoves.com or go to householderhomes.com. Go Raiders! Your fans are all behind you at the field or while you're watching at home.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
I love that intro out there. They've been busy out here, haven't they? Their parking lot has been full. The drive-thru has been full. They have opened up back here at Culver's. This Irish Bill with Seminole Bob, Irish Bill's Twist on Sports, and the dining room is open back up at Culver's here in Navarre.
And it looks great. It absolutely.
And it smells great too, doesn't it?
They've done some renovation.
They have with the flooring. Looks a lot nicer. The tables are spread out a little bit to stay within the COVID-19 guidelines, and but the food, you can never go wrong with food here at Culver's.
Man, you don't social distance that custard because it doesn't.
The custard. I mean, you have the cheese curds, the sandwiches. The butter burger is incredible. The fish sandwich is what I always get. Is just, it's heavenly, if you could describe it like that.
Is it an angelfish?
Nice.
Shh. We want to thank Robin.
He'll be here all night, folks.
We want to thank Robin.
Ginger.
What is it?
Ginger.
Ginger. What did I say, Robin?
Just think of Gilligan's Island. Ginger.
Oh, there you go. Thank
Culver's.
You. Thank you,
Your
Ginger.
place in downtown Navarre for great food and great atmosphere here. And Randy and Honey Smith have done a great job. Opened up their new store over in Fort Walton Beach on the corner of, I think it's North Beale, and is that Martin Luther King?
Yeah.
Or Green Acres.
Right, Green Acres.
Coming off of that area over there. I asked Ginger how they're doing, and they said it is.
You imagine.
Honey working all three. She's running all three stores, her and Randy, right now.
She's on roller skates. I think she's on roller skates.
She has to be.
Imagine between the military crowd from Eglin, business crowd over there on that side of town, the hospital, and Choctawhatchee High School down the street.
And you're forgetting the Northwest Florida College just down the road from there as well. right there on
Courthouse.
And, gosh, it's just a perfect area.
Well, yeah.
Off a racetrack, not too far from racetrack. It's a great place. And I would say if you're planning on a quick lunch, you can't go there because you'll be in line for quite a while. But just to give you a heads up. Well, let's get back to our rankings. The latest rankings came out by my good friend Joshua Wilson, FloridaHighSchoolFootball.com. What a great job. He is talking about a busy man, a busy person. That's Joshua, what he does for Florida high school football. Not only the boys, or the young men, but the young ladies, too, with the flag football.
He does. I saw that.
And let's go with our number one teams in Class 1A. They move up from the 3 spot. Seminole out of Sanford. In Class 7A, you have St. Thomas Aquinas. I think they're getting off and playing their first game this weekend. They're at number 1. Niceville comes in at number 8, and Navarre is number 3 out of the. So I would call them 13th right now in Class 7A. In 6A, you have Miami Central. I believe they're playing their first game this weekend as well. Escambia in at number 6. Down to 5A, Miami Northwestern. Still waiting to play their first game. They're a power down in Miami. Wakulla out of Crawfordville is in at number 7, 4-0 on the season. Over in 4A, it's a battle between Bowles and Cocoa. Bowles on top right now. In 3A, you have Chaminade Madonna. Right behind them is Florida High, 4-0. In Class 2A, Champagnat Catholic, I believe is how you say that. Mm-hmm. They're 3-2. Play a very tough schedule. North Florida Christian comes in at number 5. And down in 1A, Madison County number 1. Vernon jumps over Baker this past week to the number 2 spot. And Baker's in at number 3. And just receiving votes is Wee-Wah-Hitska, the Gators, and Coach Bobby Johns.
And I think the way the playoff situation is, if they get into the second or third rounds, Baker would be on the road to Vernon.
Oh, that would be a tough place to play.
I think I read that.
And
great game no matter where it's at.
Right. The field was a little wet last year from what I hear, and Baker pulled out a very tight contest over there. Vernon was suffering a little bit in the kicking game, and it ended up costing them in that game. But I look for big things out of Vernon this year. Speaking of big things, it's time for Irish Bill's Super 7 Panhandle Power Rankings. The large schools, not much change at the top. Niceville, Escambia, and Navarre stay 1, 2, 3. But Milton jumps up to number 4. Pine Forest at 5. West Florida at 6. And Washington at 7. In the small schools, Baker stays in the top spot, 5-0. Vernon, number 2. Catholic stays at the 3 spot. Wee-Wah-Hitska, the big jump from 7 up to 4 as they go to 5-1. Port St. Joe in open week. They're at number 5. Northview at 6. Needs comes in at number 7. And our players of the week could have been players 1A, 1B this past week, and they're both on the same team.
No joke.
Offensive player, our player of the week from Wee-Wah, quarterback junior Alex Williams, rushed for, get these numbers, folks, 345 yards rushing out of a quarterback and 7 touchdowns, only 20 carries, and a 61-35 win over Liberty County. His running mate in the backfield with him, this young man is only a freshman. Oh. Zay McDaniel had 23 carries for 319 yards, a touchdown, and also a 67-yard kickoff return. So between the two of them, they rushed for 664 yards and 8 touchdowns. And on the night, Wee-Wah as a team rushed for 707 yards. That's a lot of yards. They didn't throw one pass. Didn't have to. But there's our offensive player of the week, Alex Williams from Wee-Wah. Our defensive player of the week comes from Pace. Defensive back Brock Palmer contributed 13 tackles, 9 solos, 4 assists, and an interception. And Pace's first win of the season, this one over Tate, 35-17. So congratulations goes out to Alex Williams of Wee-Wah and Brock Palmer of Pace High School.
We saw Brock in the Pace game.
Had a big game.
Did, yep.
Our quarterbacks, what great play we're getting out of our quarterbacks here in the area. Escambia's Rennie Prim, 19 of 22, 282 yards. Niceville's Trey Wainwright, what a season that young man's having. 10 of 13, 232 yards, 3 scores. Another 3 scores Monday night for Trey Buchanan up at Milton High. Didn't get the stats from Coach this week, Coach Lees, but he said they played a great game and an even better defensive performance. Washington's Emil Steele having a great year. Catholic's King is the quarterback this year for the Crusaders. Pace's Brandon Miller rushed for 115 yards. Our wide receivers, Scambia's Jaden Milliner, 7 receptions, 164 yards on a score. Tate's Lyle Jackson, 4 receptions for 135. And there's just the performances. It's hard to pick each week who I decide on will be my player of the week. And Navarre's Trent Hall, 4 receptions, 88 yards, 2 TDs, and probably his best game on the varsity level for Navarre.
Yep, they hammered Choctaw with those slant passes, and Trent's sure hands got him a couple scores.
And let's go over to the running backs. Northview's, we already talked about Zay McDaniel from Weewaw. Jaden Jackson with another excellent game out there for the Chiefs, 22 carries, 199 yards. A name we talked about a lot last year is finally getting going. Calvin Stringer from Sneads High School. He had 185 yards on 24 carries. Kwan Powell, 4 carries, 170 yards, and 3 touchdowns. His first 3 carries were all over 50 yards.
I was about to say average around 45 plus.
Yeah. Jaden Rivera from Navarre, 13 carries, 169 yards. Great game for Jaden. 1 reception, also his first touchdown reception on the season. Pace's Maurice Bennett, 15 carries, 107 yards. Defense, our Week 1 Defensive Player of the Week, Brody Casapul from North Bay Haven. He had 16 tackles. His teammate Aiden Ginn had 11 tackles. Northview's Johnny Wyndham with 15. Washington's Peyton Daniels with 12. And our kicking and punting, Niceville's Charles LeBee, a product of one-on-one kicking. Brady is familiar with him. 6 for 6 on extra points, 29 for 29 on the season, 1 for 1 field goal along of 39. And just some great jobs by some kickers around here. And you're going to make me say this name. It's Hjort. We had his name in the first week. Jort? Out of Weewaw, 7 of 8 on extra points. Pace's Hayden Fennell, 5 of 5 on extra points. Sneed's Anthony Moran, 4 for 4. And Catholic's Darren Bredesen was 2 for 2 on field goals. So your number 1 team in our large schools, Niceville and Baker, they both remain number 1 this week. And our players of the week, offensive player Alex Williams and defensive player Brock Palmer. A lot of great performances around the area,
Absolutely.
isn't it, Bob? And it's just going to keep getting better and better as the season goes on. Now we're going to jump over to the college side of things, where I edged you out last week by 1 game, but I'm not bragging because both of us kind of stunk it up last week.
And I know which game that probably was too.
And the difference was the Florida State Notre Dame game. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna rub it in.
It was a little early, a little nervous for the Irish. You've got to admit that.
You know what? Into the third quarter, I was like, they score here, they're within one score. And I started to get a little nervous myself. And but the Irish ended up pulling it out by 16, 42-26.
They didn't cover the spread.
Did not cover the spread of 21. And but that was our 1 game difference.
And I told you they wouldn't cover the spread. But it was looking good. Now, problem is we play North Carolina this week, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. We got 2 Friday night games. Mm-hmm. Shmoo.
What's Shmoo with you?
Not much. Number 18, SMU, is traveling to Tulane to take on the Green Wave. I love their uniform colors. But
I'm glad you do.
The Mustangs are playing really well here. I'm going to go with Shmoo on the road.
Going to go with Shmoo on the road. Do you think Tulane is regretting not signing Dante?
I do. And but Dante is where he needs to be right now.
Absolutely.
And they love him out there.
Oh yeah.
Well, anywhere Dante goes, you're gonna love the guy. I mean, just a very quiet,
Unassuming
just
lunch bucket, brings it, lets his actions speak for him, speaks for him, doesn't do any dances after he scores, hands the balls to the official, celebrates with his team, goes back to the bench.
Yep.
Get some water.
And it's great to see that they're going to be playing this year. I think they're starting on the 24th of October. Their first game will be against New Mexico to get the season started. So I'm interested to watching Dante play again this year. They have, I think, 3 or 4 Thursday night games this year.
Okay.
Which will be good, I think, for the Wrights, for Stacy, because she'll be able to go to the Thursday night games, fly back to Navarre on Friday night to watch Devin play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
And let's move over to our second game on Friday night. BYU, have them quietly. Yes, the schedule has not been really tough, but BYU 4-0, and they're going to Houston, who's 1-0 on the season.
Going to go with BYU on the road.
Me as well. They'll go to 5-0. And I think they'll be the first team to get, well, unless Shmoo beats them first to it, they could go 5-0 before that game. Saturday contest, number 1 Clemson, 4-0 going to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech playing a lot better this year, and they're 2-2, but Clemson just too much.
They're playing at Grant Field.
Named after you?
I wish. Right in the middle of
I've been by it before.
Yeah, right near the varsity. What do you have?
I've been through there, never stopped. Louisville 1-3 going to Notre Dame. They're expecting a lot of big things out of Louisville this year, but not much has shown up. And I look for the Irish to just walk all over Louisville in this one.
I do too. Louisville has as much speed or more than Florida State. Notre Dame looked a little sloppy early on. I think you'll agree with that.
Oh yeah, yes. The 3 weeks off definitely showed.
And at halftime, I think Brian Kelly, their head coach, probably said some words that he might have to go to confession for.
Some wordy dirds
that he might have to go to confession for. But, good teams, you can't be on a hard level the whole time. And Florida State had really nothing to lose in that game.
Not a thing.
Nothing. They wanted to find their quarterback. They got it. I
was very impressed with Travis. Is it Travis Jordan or Jordan Travis?
Jordan Travis.
Mm-hmm. Very impressed. He was kind of running for his life most of the night, but I think it's a step in the right direction for Florida State moving to their backup quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. And when we get to that, I'll talk a little bit more about Florida State.
The next game we were going to pick was going to be a great game, LSU at Florida. No longer, game postponed till December 12th.
I think so.
And LSU at Florida, so no picking that one. The game of the weekend, number 3 Georgia, 3-0 at number 2 Alabama, 3-0. Nick Saban not going to be on the sideline. Is that going to be a difference maker?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 thoughts on that. You could say, well, they'll rally around their coach, win it for coach. Would he be in a booth by himself with a headset? I don't know. And the other one is, Steve Sarkisian, I guess, is going to lead the troops.
Well, some think that whenever Saban leaves that he may be the next head coach.
Could be. He's had his problems, in the past. But, when I was flipping through the channels and somebody was mentioning on another game may have been the Florida State game, I don't remember, Notre Dame game, that, I know what it was. You texted me and said, flip over to the Alabama game, and it was tied. And I said, holy cow.
It was a track meet. I went to a football game, and a track meet broke out.
No kidding.
Gosh.
No kidding.
And
no, it was just so uncharacteristic of an Alabama defense,
48
Saban
points.
being a defensive coach, this game, I've been back and forth with it.
4-point favorites right now, Alabama. But you know what, Scott?
I said I was
you know what
not
Scott
gonna pick
Moore,
against
Scott
Georgia.
Moore always says, defense wins championships.
Defense wins
And
championships.
Georgia wins this game.
I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs. Could be a field goal game.
I'm going with Georgia as well. Pittsburgh 3-2 at Miami 2-1. They'll bounce back, I believe, after their loss to Clemson. And Clemson really opened up a lot of people's eyes on Miami, because Miami was talking a lot coming into this game, saying that they were back. And Clemson says they gave them the old Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friend.
Just the
And
passes.
the defense just was all over the field on Saturday night.
They matched Miami's speed, which to me was very eye-opening. And Trevor Lawrence, he was putting. Look, I'm a school teacher and a former YMCA director and one of Bill's good friends. I'm not a coach, but he was putting balls NFL-esque, putting them on the spot on passes, just pinpoint all night. And what
I like, Bob, is they got a running back in the backfield that would be starting in the NFL right now if he chose to come out.
Exactly.
Travis Etienne, I mean, gosh, what a talent out of the backfield. But the difference maker with not only the good offense of Clemson is their defense comes to play every Saturday night, every Saturday afternoon. Brent Venables has done a great job bringing in, because a lot of teams right now, as we can see, is moving towards the offense. But Georgia and Clemson have brought in the defensive players, because, like we said, defense wins championships. Mm-hmm. And Clemson has 2 in the last 5 years.
Right.
And, yeah, the scores were up there, but you had to outscore Alabama in that one contest.
Well, Clemson separated itself from the rest of the ACC pack.
Oh, they have.
North Carolina is probably definitely a number 2. I'm going to go with Miami in this game.
I'm going with Miami as well.
Uh-huh.
Hurricanes get back on a winning track. Navy 2-2 at East Carolina. We have the Midshipmen and the Pirates.
Vegas has no chance for East Carolina, even at home. I'm going with
Navy.
Midshipmen.
Anchors away, my friend.
Anchors away.
Liberty 4-0, looking to go 5-0 as they travel up to the Carrier Dome, named after an air conditioning company, but they have no air conditioning in the building. How is that?
I thought it was quite pleasant when I went to an FSU.
I have never been up there.
Yeah, it's.
I'm going with Liberty and Hugh Freeze to go 5-0.
Oh my gosh! I got to go with the Qs.
Next, we traveled over to Temple, who we thought both were going to beat Navy last week. No.
Navy had a great
They're going to be
rally.
hosting South Florida. The Bulls kind of struggling this year. I go with the Owls to get their first victory.
Go with the Owls. See, if you rearrange Owls letters, it's slow.
Or Lowe's.
Yeah. I'm going with Temple at home on this game.
Number 11, Cincinnati, 3-0, still undefeated. Playing at Tulsa. Tulsa knocks off Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago. And
living on Tulsa time, I'm
going with the Bearcats.
Vegas has this game as almost a toss-up, which is surprising. But I'm going to go with the Bearcats. I picked against them. Are they a top 10 team? I don't know. But you got to win games like this if you're going to be a top 10 team.
Kansas 0-3 at West Virginia, 2-1. I'm going with the Mountaineers at home.
Yeah, I picked the Mountaineers last time, and, boy, they disappointed me. I'll go with Mountaineers again. Jordan Jefferson.
Kentucky with a stifling victory over Mississippi State last week. And as they held Mississippi State to 2 points, 27-2. Kentucky 1-2, going to number 14, Tennessee. trying to rebound after that tough loss to Georgia. I'm going with the Volunteers at
Yeah,
home.
this could be a trap game. I'll go with the Volunteers, but I think it's going to be a close one.
Auburn 2-1 off their loss. Actually, their gift of a victory last week against Arkansas, as the SEC officials told. I like Auburn because of Nick Brahms, but they got a gift at the end of that ball game. I don't know if you saw the end of the game.
I did.
And he clearly, the ball hit the ground. He picks it up, spikes it backwards, which is a fumble. Arkansas recovered. Game over. Nope. They line up, and Carlson, one of the third or fourth Carlsons to go through Auburn, kicks the game-winning field goal. I'm going to go with Auburn on the road at South Carolina, even though South Carolina looked really good last week against a depleted Vanderbilt team.
Oh, gosh, this game is so hard to pick. I want to pick the Gamecocks. I just don't know how Auburn's going to react to that. And did they overlook Arkansas?
No, I think Arkansas is that much improved. Not saying they're going to be a 5-5 or 6-4 team. They are much improved with Sam Pittman doing a great job up there.
Yeah. I'll go with Auburn.
Next, we head over to Army, 4-1, heading to San Antonio to take UTSA, the Roadrunners.
Beep, beep.
Army, I'm going to go with the Roadrunners at home.
They've been on ESPN a couple times. I'm going to go with the Black Knights.
Bob going with Army. Duke 1-4 after they get to their first victory last week at NC State. Wolfpack playing a little bit better football. I'm going with the Wolfpack at home.
I'll go with the Wolfpack at home. I agree. Playing better.
UCF 2-1. Traveling to Memphis. This has been a great matchup over the last 3 or 4 years.
Sure has.
In the AAC.
Conference title matchups.
I'm going with UCF to get back on their winning ways.
I do. I think UCF will win.
Ole Miss 1-2 at Arkansas.
Wow,
this is a great matchup now.
I agree.
If you would ask me before the season, Ole Miss going to Arkansas in week 4, what do you think? Ole Miss in a wash. I don't know. I'm not sure who's favored. In fact, let me pull up the spread here in this one. We're going to pull up
Ole
some
Miss has
college football.
3 points.
We got Ole Miss on the road at Arkansas. Ole Miss is favored by 1.5. And after their performance against Alabama last week, I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
I'll go with Ole Miss. I think it'll be a good game to watch.
Texas A&M off a fresh victory over Florida. You always hear like that, don't you? As a Florida State
I did. I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned as I watched and heard the girls had a swim meet up in Panama City, and so I was catching parts of it. And I think, you were kind of keeping me informed and told me about check the score out. Mississippi State started off with really, their quarterback throws for 600 yards. I think Texas A&M is going to have a letdown. I'm going to predict Mississippi State in an upset.
Bob going with Mississippi State. I'm going to go with A&M. Gig 'em. Marshall 3-0 off to a nice start. They're heading down to Louisiana to take on Louisiana Tech, who's 3-1. I'm going with the Thundering Herd on the road.
Going with Louisiana Tech minus Hurricane Delta.
And they are Marshall 13.5-point favorites in this one.
Woo!
Number 8, North Carolina 3-0 at Florida State 1-3.
Florida State
Michael
lost
Carter comes back to the Panhandle.
Yeah. Florida State lost their top receiver. Terry is going to be out for a couple games. He caught
great performance he had
he
against
did.
Notre Dame.
Caught a couple balls in traffic. Just wanted the 50-50 balls. Jordan Travis hurt his hand. James Blackman came in. And
Is
just a
Purdy
different team.
is he healthy enough to play? Purdy?
No, Purdy has a broken collarbone.
Broken collarbone. You got another one that came in there this year as well. Rodemaker from Valdosta. So not quite ready
No.
to play. So it'll be interesting to see who that they go with in the start there.
I'm going to go with Florida State. I hate to pick against the Carters. Great family. Got to go with my Knowles. My wife was born in North Carolina. My father-in-law got his doctorate there at UNC. And they went and visited the campus this past summer and saw some of the old haunts. And what a great job their coach has done at UNC.
The next game we were going to pick was Vanderbilt 0-3 at Missouri, but that one's been nixed to COVID-19 as well. So we're going to move on down to Oklahoma State. Are they starting to be the top shelf of the Big 12 this year, Oklahoma State?
I gotta believe so. I mean, this will be, this game's on the road for them. I'm gonna go with the Mullets of Oklahoma State.
I'm a man. I'm 40. Well, we're both a little bit above that now. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State. I picked against them early in the year. They're a top 10 team. And Baylor's no slouch. It would not surprise me if they had a letdown. But, you got, as I said earlier, you got to win games.
Because they almost lost to Tulsa in week 1.
They did.
And they pull out a victory there. In our last game of the night, Virginia Tech, 12-point favorite, hosting Boston College.
12 points at home.
And Virginia Tech did put up 45 in a loss to North Carolina. Boston College, Phil Jerkovic was the backup quarterback at Notre Dame before he transferred to Boston College, or Djokovic, however you want to pronounce that. But they're at Virginia. I'm going with the Hokies at home.
Hokie
in
high.
Blacksburg.
Yep.
There's your picks. After 3 weeks, I got a 5-game lead on Bob. 46-17 overall for me, 41-22 for Bob.
We've got a few college games that are different.
Let's see what we got here. We got one. Did you go with South Florida or Temple?
Yeah, I went with the Owls.
The Owls. We're different on Army and UT San Antonio. Texas A&M and Mississippi State, Marshall and Louisiana Tech, North Carolina, Florida State. And we got about 4 or 5 games different. So it could be a chance for me to either pull away and look at you in the rearview mirror, or you come up and my objects in the mirror are closer than they appear.
Right, and I still owe you a pizza from last year.
No, you don't.
That. Yeah.
But so there's our college games. Now we're going to wrap it up with our former Navarre Raiders. Where are they now? Well, our ones that aren't playing this fall, unfortunately, free agent tight end Jordan Leggett in his 4th year in the NFL, Maryville linebacker Bo Herring, Huntington College. Actually, these next 5 are all Huntington College.
Yeah.
Mark Struck, Daryl Hickson, Garrett Schluter, Kyle Hickman, and Tyler England. Charleston Southern wide receiver Quinn Caballero, and Harding defensive lineman Mitchell Hunt. Also not playing this year, but for a different reason. University of Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns long snapper James Segrist, he transferred into Louisiana as a walk-on. He's not eligible to play this year, but he'll be playing for his dad once again. Rory Segrist is one of the I believe is the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator for the Raging Cajuns.
Is Huntington going to play in the spring?
That I have not heard. We'll have to do some checking into that one. But our players that did play, Texas Tech, Tommy Leggett having a great senior year.
Yep.
6 tackles last week and a 31-15 loss to Iowa State. Next game up is they will have this week off before they host West Virginia. On the season, Tommy with 26 tackles in 4 games.
Maybe he'll he'll play against Jordan Jefferson of West Virginia.
That's possible. And our next running back, he had his best college day of the year. What a two-headed monster that they have going in North Carolina with Javonte Williams and with Michael Carter.
Right.
They're 3-0 on the season. Mac Brown doing a great job turning that program around.
Got to be coach of the year in college football.
Michael, 17 carries, 214 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 reception for 15 yards. And he had 1 kickoff return as well in a 56-45 win over Virginia Tech. Through 3 games, Michael has 413 yards on 40 carries, averaging over 10 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns, 8 receptions, and 81 yards. And they will be at Florida State on Saturday night.
They moved the game to 7 o'clock. The way Florida State defense allowed Notre Dame's running backs to run.
Oh, we got a game going on right now, Bob.
Yep.
Coastal Carolina and Louisiana tied at 13 at the half.
13.
The Chanticleers and the Raging Cajuns.
I think Michael will add on to his total against Florida State, win, lose, or draw.
Then we go to Auburn's offensive lineman Nick Brahms. As a redshirt junior there, they're 2-1. He's made all 3 starts this year. They'll be playing at South Carolina, 11 a.m. kickoff. And then we move on down to the southern part of Florida, Ave Maria University offensive lineman LaMarcus Smith, a senior there. They're 2-1, known as the Gyrenes. And the next game will be this Saturday night at 7 p.m. against Southeastern. West Virginia's defensive lineman Jordan Jefferson. The Mountaineers are 2-1, 1-1 in conference play. They have an open week this week. The next game will actually open week last week. They'll be at home against Kansas this Saturday at noon kickoff.
Les Miles.
South Alabama linebacker Josh Carter is sophomore over there. They're 1-2. Their next game will be Saturday 11 a kickoff at home in a brand new stadium against Texas State. And Colorado State wide receiver Dante Wright will be playing his first game on the 24th, which will be next weekend, against New Mexico.
Is it New Mexico coached or used to be coached by Bob Davies?
Yep, Bob Davies used to coach
Former
down
coach, Notre Dame.
So we've got a big game coming up this Friday night, Bob.
Yeah, I don't know how Jay Walls, head coach, is going to frame the game. It could be that David versus Goliath. No one believes we can win. That angle, or just we got to play them sometime.
That's right. We may end up playing them twice this year.
Could be. And let's see how we match up.
Most definitely.
And so Navarre's going to have to play a complete game, air-free, and Niceville's going to have to give some gifts. It's going to be tough uphill struggle, but I think Navarre's up to the task.
Most definitely. We'll be on the air 6:30 pregame from Niceville High School. And a great matchup, 7 o'clock kickoff. Mm-hmm. And we will be doing audio and a video of the scoreboard so that you can know how much time and what the score is. Arrangement we made with Coach Grant Thompson. So at least we're there, and you'll be able to listen to us live on IrishBillSports.com.
And we still don't know about the following week. We were supposed to be at home.
I'm not sure on that one. I know that Fort Walton Beach has canceled their game this week due to COVID. I'm not sure totally about next week, but I'm hearing rumors possibly that it'll be 2 weeks.
Right. So
I don't know if Navarre will look for another appointment or they'll take that time to get ready for their next game. A team that they have never played before, the Enterprise Wildcats from Enterprise, Alabama.
And I think that's homecoming.
It will be homecoming, and then we'll finish up on the road at Crestview for the regular season.
Tough place. Tough place to play.
Well, we thank you all for coming on. Irish Bill's Twist on Sports once again Wednesday night here in downtown Navarre at Culver's. Seminole Bob and Irish Bill. Until Friday night from Niceville High School, this is Irish Bill. May the wind ever be at your back. This is Irish Bill signing off.
Good night, Navarre.